This is when 9 to 5 ends and real talk begins. The After 5 Diaries. The After 5 Diaries.
Hey folks, welcome to the After 5 Diaries, your after work companion where tough questions meets real conversations. So today my topic is very relevant, something in minds of everyone in 9 to 5, AI taking over jobs, like factory jobs, front desk jobs, white collar jobs as well. So is it a complete revolution or a replacement? We're going to have to find out about that today. Are we supposed to be worried or should we be preparing? So today I have someone special, someone that will discuss this with me, someone who is in that space. My name is Funa, you guys know. And I have a cybersecurity expert today, Gbolabo, to help me delve or dive into this. Gbolabo, welcome to the pod. You know something about Gbolabo? Gbolabo said, I should send him a limo to come and pick him up.
Well, since AI can replace me, I can also make demands.
You guys, I should thank him because he actually said I was able to bring him here on such a short notice. You guys help me thank Gbolabo. He came here on a short notice, and that's why he requested for a limo. Actually, I told him I couldn't afford a limo. Can I send a Suzuki or a Corolla? And he requested a Corolla, a pink one. A pink Corolla.
We're moving like we're advancing. The colors have to align.
So Gbolabo, tell me why you requested for a pink Corolla. Do you know I searched? I looked for a pink Corolla all over Lagos, but I couldn't find it. Tell me why pink?
Which LLMs did you check on? Did you check
all of them? All the one you can think of. All right, thank you. Welcome to the pod. Welcome to the pod. So let's really dive in. AI taking over jobs, taking over people's roles. Should we be scared? Should we be worried? It's in the headlines everywhere. AI taking over jobs. And people are really worried. It's in the minds of everyone. People are really scared, asking questions. Will my job be taken over by robots one day? What do I do? How do I get prepared? Are their fears valid? Let's talk about this.
So the fears are valid. But let me start by saying, yes, is AI taking over jobs? Yes. Is this something you should be worried about? Maybe not. Is this something you should prepare for or should have prepared for? Yes. So the fears being valid, yes, but what could you have done to ensure you don't have to worry is stay informed. When AI started buzzing, people should have, done more research to understand what AI is about. Also understand if your job falls into those category of jobs that it will take over. And next steps will now be how are you empowering yourself to, ensure you're ahead of the curve and AI is not troubling your role or your job, for example. And the interesting thing is there was a lot of information before the time. Like there was a Goldman Sachs report that came up 2 years ago and talked about how about 300 million jobs would be taken over by artificial intelligence. But it also didn't just state that, okay, it will be a total replacement. In some environments, in some areas, it will be augmentation. In fact, some new roles were created like prompt engineers, data ethicists. There were new roles developed to be able to align with the innovation, AI is putting forward. So yes, the fear is legitimate. The concern, yes, should be there. But there's just a lot people can do to ensure they're staying ahead of the curve. So you're not necessarily losing your job. You are transitioning from one role to another. Or you're transitioning from leveraging maybe manual roles to an automated approach, which helps with better outcomes, which helps organizations make more money, for example. Okay. So it's depending on the side of the divide, which is, are you on the naive, lazy divide where you're not just keeping up to speed? There's a problem. But if you're keeping up to speed, like this AI, I want to be part of it, or this AI coming up, I want to take advantage of it, then you'll win.
Oh, that's interesting. So you mentioned something that you said not every industry will be affected. So who are the people that are most vulnerable to this whole AI takeover, AI evolution? So what companies are prone to being taken over if that's not the word?
So one of the advantages of artificial intelligence from an automation perspective is it helps solve the problems of repetitive tasks. Okay. So if you are in a job function where what you do is a bit repetitive, customer care, if you're in manufacturing, if you're in maybe white collar, a bit of blue collar. You work in a bank, and
Wow.
what you do is a bit repetitive, like document management or process management that can be automated. Technology can take over. Then yes, the organization, even a smart businessman, an entrepreneur would know better that, hey, you know what? Why don't I use innovative means of achieving this instead of leveraging on a human being? But that doesn't mean the human being is not required. The human being also transcends to that next level. Of course, equipping themselves with the technology, the right tools to be able to do much more. So it's more of a shift that, hey, you know what? There's just a role you shouldn't be handling anymore. There's a role a human being that is that smart shouldn't be
Okay.
handling.
Okay.
So let's let the machines or the bots handle this, and let's let the human handle this. And guess what? AI is as successful as what the human has done with it, which is where the prompt engineers come into place.
Okay.
You get the prompt engineers are the ones that enrich trainers, the AI trainers too. As in, there's just so much they do. Is how well trained your AI, platform is the qualitative output you will get to, or the outcomes from an automation perspective. So, in a way, the human being is actually required.
Okay.
The
Okay.
human being. But what it does is it enhances. So AI is actually augmenting human capabilities and blowing it out of proportion. So the human actually just needs to put it, that input has to go in, and then AI multiplies it for you.
So how would this collaboration work? Because what you've been speaking to just speaks to collaboration between AI and humans. So you mentioned something very interesting to me, the customer service role, maybe in banks. So if a bank decides to incorporate AI into their system right now, so how will you ensure that AI does not completely wipe off the role of a customer service person? How would a customer service person that requires like human inputs in certain things, of course, you said most of the things customer service people do are automated, but there is this human aspect of it. So how would that collaboration work for
so let's say
situations like
for
that?
example, let's say for customer service, there are multiple layers: level 1, level 2, level 3.
Okay.
AI takes over level 1 and level 2, which is the call comes in.
All right.
And then immediate. So the good thing with AI now is that, so if you leverage AI for level 1, as a bank, when a customer calls, you pick immediately because it's AI.
Okay.
So there's no issue about, we have only 8 agents and they're busy. No, with AI, multiple agents are set up, 200. And no matter the number of calls, it will be picked the first time. And there's a quick response.
Okay.
And when you take in the first request, what is the issue? What's your account number? Or what's your card number? And so all those prompts will come. There's a back and forth. And so you ask those easy queries, check account balance, all those things, which already happens today. But it now gets to a specific, in fact, guess what? Requesting for bank statement, 6-month bank statement for visa application, that also can be automated. It's easy.
Oh yeah.
All that will be sorted. Or maybe critical issues, a dispense error issue, which also can be fixed. All you need to do is put the date and time of the transaction, and then you can query and say, okay, yes, we can confirm this, and there will be a reversal in the next 3 days. Whatever it is, that's why I said level 1 and level 2. But now, from a banking perspective, let's look at an area where you need AI. So maybe it's a request where you will need guidance from someone in the treasury team, or someone in the trade finance team,
Okay.
or someone in private banking team. And then AI just transitions to a human being, which is a phone number, the desk of someone in the private banking team, to take over having this conversation with the HNI and then take things forward from there.
That's pretty interesting. You see, level 1, level 2.
Exactly. So basically, what a lot of organizations are doing is taking away those menial, possibly monotonous, or not even overly rewarding roles, and then the human has to move. Human has to learn, understand, appreciate AI, and be able to leverage it at that next level. But for the monotonous, repetitive engagements, then the machine can take over.
Yeah, pretty interesting. It's looking like a complete collaboration right there.
Exactly.
So let's delve into it. Let's talk real life jobs. Are there jobs like all over the world that have been taken over by AI? Because I think this whole AI invasion is it's rampant in the technology-driven countries like Asia and the rest of them. So are there jobs that have been taken over there? Because I've seen something like all over the internet. I see like videos all over the internet, Twitter, TikTok, and all of that. And I see AI like robots serving in restaurants. Robots serving in restaurants. And I'm shocked. Like, a robot takes my order, takes my menu, what I order, I say, I'm coming, I'm waiting, and the robot is
That's probably
serving
happening
me.
only in Asia for now. They're the ones that the ball. Okay, so
So are there jobs that have been taken over by AI
So yes.
as we speak?
So yeah, so there've been jobs taken over by AI, even in technology space. You've heard conversations where tech companies have reduced the number of developers they have because and narrowing down to just some key resources and leveraging artificial intelligence to speed up the rate of development. But I would also tell you that we've seen organizations that have rolled back on their AI strategy,
Okay.
recruiting people back. So I've seen in the past weeks, I've heard about, the names just don't come to mind, multiple organizations that laid off, and the idea was to leverage artificial intelligence. And I also know about organizations, it's good I don't remember the name because it's good I don't have to mention it, that actually wiped out customer data because they were trying to leverage the technology.
In Africa?
No,
Or
abroad.
okay,
in the
okay.
UK. And he had to do like a public apology, apologizing to customers. Like the idea was the gateways, or how will I put it? There are those points where control gates where you need to get the human involved to ensure the automation or the artificial intelligence is driving your operations or process effectively. So by this particular entity, data was wiped out, entire services were wiped out, and you had to do an apology to customers and clients, and of course you have to rebuild, and of course get humans involved at specific points. So yes, a lot of organizations are reviewing their AI strategy to recruit, of course, specific people back. What could have happened then at the point of layoff is transition some people to specific roles,
Okay.
train them, help them develop specific capabilities to leverage the innovation and the technology, encourage other people to that can develop, specific skills to move into new and different roles. What would just be different would be, so for example, I envisage that an organization that plans well, depending on their size, won't necessarily need to lay off, but will just need to sort of upskill and plan, okay, we are not recruiting humans anymore. And for the current staff, we're upskilling them and moving them into different roles. That saves them from first laying off, making a few mistakes, leveraging just the technology and innovation, and then calling some people back.
Okay. Just hold that thought on laying off. I want to take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk about laying off, for instance, and what to do after someone has been laid off. You guys take a short break now. When we come back, this is still the After 5 Diaries pod, and I'm Funa. I hope you're subscribed to our YouTube channel at the After 5 Diaries, following us on Instagram at the After 5 Diaries pod, and on TikTok and Facebook at the After 5 Diaries. I'll be back. When we come back, I'll keep chatting with Gbolabo.
And real talk begins. The After 5 Diaries.
All right, you guys, welcome back. This is still the After 5 Diaries, and I'm still Funa, your host. Before we went on that break, I was chatting with Gbolabo, and he said something about people being laid off, right? So let's really speak on that. So let's say somebody just completely loses their job to AI. What happens? Like, what do you think the government can do to secure to have job security around what people do? What can the government do in places like this? I'm working and then completely you're telling me robots about to take over my job. What could happen in places like Africa, for instance? And AI just completely comes, robots are all over the place doing the real thing that I was doing before. What could be done to keep people at bay, or to just keep people at rest on their jobs being taken over, or when someone's job gets taken over by AI? What happens?
Okay, so to expect the government to be able to do something might be a bit tricky, but I would say surprisingly, from a Nigerian perspective, I would say the minister responsible for digital economy, ICT, has been doing a lot around scaling even the public sector, leveraging artificial intelligence, ensuring the agricultural sector is benefiting from it, for example. So I think governments are tuned into this already, and they are putting things in place. But you see, the real effort is the person. And the interesting part about it is developing capabilities from an AI perspective. I won't say it's for free, but it's readily available. It's to tune to it and just say, okay, what am I doing currently? and what can I do differently to ensure I am not part of the people that would get laid off? Or if I get laid off, what is next? Of course, it's to sort of get a role to that would see. I'll give you an example. One of the roles affected by the layoff, one of the major role is customer service. But guess what? A lot of people are not recruiting for customer service anymore.
Wow.
Instead, they will get an AI agent. In fact, before AI went wild, people have started using chatbots. People are transforming how they provide customer service to their customers today. You get and truth is, based on the patterns from the users, people actually prefer self-service than calling in the customer service. So they're happy to put in specific information, which is prompting, and then get specific responses, and then move on with their business or get the outcomes they require. So if you have been in customer success, it's a no-brainer. You need to skill up.
Yeah.
Because at some point, it gets to a point, a customer success person won't be required.
Oh,
And there is
interesting.
nothing we can do about that. The craziest one that has been happening lately is look at the graphics guys. Just 2 years ago, the graphics guy used to be a superhero, spends a lot of time designing. Now, in 2 minutes, with the right prompts, you have the image you want, you have the videos you want. So all of a sudden, people are thinking, what happens to that video editing specialist that takes forever? From a skills perspective, what happens to the graphics guy that would, tell you, come back to you with your logo design in 3 days? Now you get it in 3 minutes.
Interesting.
So the question is, what the graphics guy is supposed to do is adjust his SLA, skill up first,
Okay.
know how to leverage artificial intelligence, adjust his SLA to his customer. That guess what? It's no more 3 days, it's now 3 hours.
Okay.
Why? Because it's leveraging artificial intelligence.
Okay.
So everybody just needs to scale up.
Yeah.
For example, in the cybersecurity space, we are improving our response time, or we are improving our mean time to respond or mean time to identify or detect an incident. Now it's quicker to carry out investigations. So risk identification is quicker now, leveraging the technology. So for the risk manager, for example, AI is actually helping you respond better to risks, manage risk better, identify risks quicker. So the solution is actually developing capabilities around risk, around artificial intelligence, and this goes back to formal education, secondary schools. So taking it back to schools, having courses or classes that would, talk about, for example, say intro tech back in the days should talk about artificial intelligence now because it's that technology and everybody would leverage it. Whether you want to go into commercial, arts or sciences, you would leverage artificial intelligence. So it's for us to embrace it actually and know that we shouldn't think about this particular role again because it will not be needed. Final example is when manual cars used to be in vogue, some specific mechanics used to thrive. But when automatic cars came into vogue, some mechanics had to scale up to know how to support and manage automatic cars. And the guy that is just a manual stick guy had to move on.
Okay.
Same for the guy that was just a superhero driving the manual stick, now needs to embrace and appreciate that I don't need to do so much work shifting the stick and leverage the automation that's come with the automated gear system and drive better, drive at ease. So it's that advancement. In fact, that is an amazing example. Manual stick, automated, auto, and see now, even driverless cars.
There are driverless cars right now.
And I know people are using them. I know a couple of friends, colleagues that have traveled and they would record when they book the driverless cab.
Interesting.
They record it from when it picks them up and they get into the car. Nobody sees on the driver's side till they get to the destination. It's happening. It's here to stay.
Do you think something like this will thrive in Africa? Thrive in Nigeria,
Yeah,
especially?
yeah. So in Nigeria, yes, it will thrive. It will thrive in sane areas like some parts of Abuja, some parts of Lagos, Ikoyi, Banana Island, areas where traffic is not mental, where the road network is tidy, just areas where there's control. So it's a journey. You start from areas where there's control, and then we'll move out to the other.
Do you think we're really embracing AI in this part of the world? And if we're not, what do you advise companies and parastatals, companies really, maybe people in finance, what do you advise them to do? Are we really embracing? Are we really open to it? Because I think a lot of things are still very much manual and analog over here. So just tell people what to do.
So I think we're embracing AI. I think we are big time. I know about a lot of traditional or legacy financial institutions are aligning now. So the good thing is that they were prepared. A lot of them first jumped on the digital transformation journey, say from 2 years ago. The buzzword then was digital transformation. So budget cycles, everybody was planning that, okay, developing digital channels, automating some processes, and now all of a sudden AI. So everybody is looking at use cases or case studies from obviously abroad, and they're saying, okay, how can we implement this properly? Also, they are also seeing mistakes from some use cases abroad and saying that, okay, how can we implement this here and ensure we don't make these mistakes and we don't incur this loss and manage things. So, for example, see the example of the financial institution abroad that first laid off people and now calling people back because they discovered that they can't just completely rely on artificial intelligence. So, we're moving with the times. In fact, in some areas, I think there's an over-dependence on it, because in a way, if it's not controlled, and not managed properly. And I can speak to that because it's something we're pushing as an organization. So what we do as a cybersecurity company is, essentially, we help organizations comply to standards. And the International Organization of Standards has come up with the framework for artificial intelligence. And it's ISO 42001. And basically, it's for the governance of artificial intelligence. And a lot of financial institutions are already reaching out. I know a couple of banks and fintechs that are on that journey trying to comply to that standard and leverage the framework to manage the implementation, integration, and utilization of artificial intelligence in their own environment for their customers, and as they go forward, as they plug with other third parties too. So so it's here to stay, and there's a lot of talk around governance now, we don't have a choice. People need to embrace it. The sooner the better. So the major advice to people is embrace it. So this AI, look it in the eye and just tackle it. And utilize it effectively for your own good personally and for your business, for your organization. So imagine a team member that comes to you to say, hey, boss, there are better ways for me to do what I need to do. You won't think of laying him off now. You keep him because, hey, nice one. And then you put him onto the transition team for the digital transformation or the automation journey. So people need to embrace it than being afraid of it or praying that it doesn't. I'm not sure prayer would help because before you know it, churches would leverage artificial intelligence
as well.
Too. It's a thing. We need to embrace it, integrate with it.
So the thing is, I know AI, it's been helpful, but there's also that part where people overuse it. AI is beginning to think for people. Let's look at schools, for instance, or students in schools. You have a project. I know back in the day, back in our time, I know how we really stressed, went to the libraries to do our projects, we study, we read books and all of that. So I think AI has come to, it's for good, but at the same time, people are really using it for everything that, you should think for yourself sometimes. AI doesn't have to think for you. Do you want to speak on that a little bit?
Yes, it's a thing. It's a thing. And, but there are also controls in place. And I'll give you a personal story. I'm not ashamed to share. A friend reached out and she was going to publish an e-magazine and she wanted me to put up an article. And in doing that, I was working with my team. And so me and my team, we came up with topics, headlines, and this. So we decided to use AI to just get some information. And normally when you get that information, you would sort of tweak and, localize it, make it original. But I didn't have time. I was traveling and I had a deadline to submit. And so by the time it was sent to me, I reviewed. And normally when you do that review, you also want to check that, aside passing it through the system to detect whether there's so much AI content, if you've done a good job, reviewing in detail, then you are sure, when you pass it through the AI detecting system, it will let you, it will pass. Even if it doesn't pass, you can speak confidently to say that, hey, you know what, forget what that detector is saying. I'm sure I localize this and it's original. There was a time, there was this back and forth on Twitter where people that were Nigerians abroad that were doing their thesis, and Nigerians, our grammar, our diction is actually way better than a lot of European foreign
Yeah, I agree with that.
foreign countries. And we use big grammar. We use it normally. And so people's reports were being reviewed and they were claiming it was AI. And people were like, no, we use this word normally in Nigeria, like it's a thing. We use to intimidate each other, like it's for fun. But for them, it's like you can't just use this word. It has to be AI that you use to develop this report. And it was a back and forth. I said, no, the average Nigerian has better diction and uses big words. So it's a thing for us, it's normal. And that's the way it works. So anyway, I sent my report in, and my friend comes back to me and says, hey, guy, come on. Guy, come on. You used AI. I said, yeah, but I said, no, you have to make it. Long story short is, because I was traveling, I didn't have enough time to review the article properly, and it didn't get published because she won't publish an article that is not original. So yes, you can use, which is where the augmentation comes, to get information. In fact, people say today that AI, which is ChatGPT or DeepSeek, are like enhanced versions of Google. Like Google is now jealous because a lot of people are not going to Google.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's what it is. So before AI, ChatGPT or DeepSeek, I would go to Google to get some sort of information. But guess what? Then when I Googled, I was more, I won't say manual, but I was more hands-on. Like it was more original because I would need to put my phrases out properly
things,
and compared to what ChatGPT does, it just
does
fixes
everything
it for
you.
me. And if I'm being lazy that day, I'm like, oh, let me see if it will fly. So, and from there, so what I took away from that, that interaction and engagement with my friend was like, going forward, this has obviously become a thing, and going forward is something we should push. That, hey guys, you want to ensure you are in control of how you are, utilizing AI to be more original. And fine, it's okay if the AI has been trained properly, then you know that you are getting the right outcomes and correct information. I think it's also very good for you to be the one in charge, which is where the augmentation comes in, using it to get the right outcomes. So that's the level it gets to. For schools, fine, there might be a need to manage the devices maybe the students are using. I have a personal story. My son's teacher reported to me and my wife that he's, compared to the history of his assignments, he's passing every assignment these days. He seems to be getting everything right.
Okay.
Like his responses are too perfect. So I go home that day and I asked him, guy, what's going on? Dude is using ChatGPT. I'm like, guy, who showed you ChatGPT? The lesson teacher. So of course, we let the lesson teacher go and we reported to the agency, and then we got a new teacher that was a bit traditional, and we had to now sort of make him unlearn that thinking that just put everything in ChatGPT, and sort of make him understand how it's supposed to use it from a research perspective, not put an entire equation
and then copy, paste,
because and so we had to go through that journey, check with him. So for me, I have personal stories and I can imagine the effect on the entire populace that is unguided or without guidance. Nobody's working, nobody's checking. So it's there. So I know that, and I know schools will be doing a lot of work. So before ChatGPT, for schools abroad, and I'm sure some schools locally, there's a way they pass reports and projects to know that, hey, you just didn't Google, copy and paste, or before the concern was copying other people. And the way what happens is there's a master copy. So if I've reviewed the project report, the documentation, by the time I review another one, I can say, you copied that first guy. So it depends on who submitted
plagiarism checks and all of that.
So now it's beyond plagiarism. Now it's more of because ChatGPT would actually give you multiple 10 versions of a particular, and it will be different, and it will pass plagiarism.
Yeah.
So now it's more of was it original? Was it an original thought process? And that is detected from prompting. You get prompting to generate specific outcomes and how you use the outcomes.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work, but guess what? Those are the new roles now. So me, I see it as an opportunity. So people need to start skilling up and developing capabilities to fit those roles that would help sanitize, for example, the data ethicists, the prompt engineers, there's a lot, AI trainers. There's a lot of work.
There's a lot of work. Let's speak briefly on scaling up. So a customer service agent that you spoke about earlier, AI is about to take over what you do in time, in future. You might not really have a role anymore. How can someone in that space, what can they do to scale up? Let's speak on scaling up a little bit. What can they do? How can I make myself better? How can I make myself employable in the markets? Like, oh, this is too basic. My job is too basic. What can I do to better my life that AI cannot take my job? Won't be able to.
So if I look at it from a customer service perspective, say a bank or a fintech, the average customer success person speaks to customers about a service, a solution, maybe a product. So imagine me being a customer service agent for 2 years, 3 years, talking about different products from the bank. Of course, the next journey is products. So I can transition easily to products, product management, product design. You would agree with me that a lot of us that fall into the customer service role at times is based on the availability of jobs at that particular time. So you see someone study computer science but is doing customer service, or studied economics doing customer service. So you want to transition, like you've hit an inflection point based on changes in the digital ecosystem and innovation, technology. It's put you in an inflection point. You need to transition. You need to scale up. So the next thing is you're looking internally and say that, what capabilities do I have? So a customer service person that has been talking about product can easily transition to the product management team. Can transition to product support team. Technical. So the question is, what do I need to learn? What do I need to know? And how can I leverage this technology to be a better product person?
Okay.
You get so, and that will apply to just depending on what you were focusing on as a customer service person.
So let's talk about those skills that AI cannot take. There are skills that AI cannot touch. You can't do anything. Whatever it is you're doing, no matter how technological driven the AI is, you can't take my role. This is purely human. What can we talk about those roles that people have been into or people are into that AI cannot touch? Those roles could enable people to say, oh, AI cannot take my job. Let me transition to this role. Let's talk about those roles a little bit.
So
all right.
For now.
Okay.
For now, I would say surgery, medicine and surgery. So surgeons are required. I know they leverage AI one way or the other to get actual information on the happenings internally, but they are leveraging, and it helps them make the right decisions on whether they need to carry out surgery or not. Today now, based on advancements, there are some surgeries they carry out. They don't need to open up the person. All they need to do is pass, some device into the person to carry out their activities. So they are leveraging, but you would always need a surgeon. You would always need a surgeon. Legal system, you will need a judge. So it will take a lot to train an AI system to judge cases. So you see proceedings, for example, look at Puff Daddy, the amount of time he has taken to judge the case filed against him. So you see some huge cases that take a long time. You would need localized knowledge to get inputs from witnesses or the defendants or the prosecuting team for you to now make decisions. So it's not that straightforward. For every case, for every sitting, new data, new information would come, and you need to respond immediately. So you need a human being for that. So that was me trying to be secular. Technology.
Yeah.
In the cybersecurity space, we are sure that yes, there are just some roles that you can't completely leverage on artificial intelligence. You need to augment. The human factor is critical. The human knowledge, human wisdom, from a decision-making perspective. And at times, the decision-making is based on the local, like environment variables, like your locality. So, for example, from a cybersecurity perspective, how you conduct yourself if you were in the Middle East or in the US is different from the Nigerian sector. how they see cybersecurity. So I'll give you an example. In the US, if you get breached, if for example, a bank like Providus was in the US, if an incident happens, you will report it. You would actually go public and say, yes, this happened, and we've done this. But in Nigeria, you will just hear it. It will be social media, it will be buzz, but nobody's coming out to say we got breached. And so it's a bit here where our approach is different to incidents and managing, technical issues compared to some other environments where they can say, okay, you know what, let technology handle this. Here, we would still need the human factor. So the technology guy, what it will do is it would reduce the number you need, or it won't replace.
Okay.
So the question is, do you want to be that person that will not be replaced? Or you want to be that key resource that is available in the environment, leveraging the technology to augment and to scale out? So in the technical area, we are doing so well to, in fact, let me give you a thing is, all my solution providers, because I leverage some other solutions, solutions developed out of region and out of the country, all of them are becoming AI-powered, AI-native solutions. So by default in the tech space, we're transitioning. We are not changing, we are not being replaced. We are leveraging on this technology, and then we're doing much more, and we're doing better. So so I would say for the technology people, it's pretty much easy, and you can easily transition and move on to other things. And for the other general, I won't say general, but which is why I give the example of medicine. I also give the example of the legal section. You would need to, so you can say, I have a court case, or I need to sue someone. So what do I need to do? I call a lawyer.
Okay.
What do I do to the lawyer? I would explain to the lawyer what happened to me. Can you imagine? My landlord, without giving me enough notice, just kicked me out, or my employer. There might be some generic cases that you can say maybe AI can help take you, like sit for you in court. But a lot of issues at times are just really localized. And the kind of schemes, how our lawyers get through now, the kind of thinking that on the spot the lawyer would think about to be able to win a case or to be able to get an edge with the judge, most likely the technology will not be able to do it as of now. But if it's about research, say paralegal, you are doing legal research to get content that would enable the lawyer win a case, but replace the lawyer, maybe not.
Okay. That's pretty interesting.
So like I'm a lawyer, there's a specific case. I don't have the book on my shelf. I can query, an LLM developed for legal people. And I know that it will give me a case from 1947, exactly the same. Give me examples. Let me know how the lawyer won the case, what was brought up, how it was countered, and all this is becoming digital because a lot of law firms, especially abroad and even locally, are digitizing all their documents, all their cases from the past. And then leveraging the technology would help you. It will shorten the case periods too. So a case that goes for 6 to 8 months now is maybe a week. Why? Because we have everything we need.
Yeah.
And the judge too has enough information. The jury too won't need so much time.
Okay.
You can't even replace the jury. So some people abroad, especially in the US, they make money. They just, a lot of them are maybe retirees and all that. And all they do is they get selected to be jury for a long case. And what happens when there is a case? If it's out of your state, they will accommodate you for the 6 months. They will keep you guys in the area, feed you guys, pay you, whatever it is. You're having a good time. You're retired anyway. But you see, why do you need a jury? You need sentiments. You need that sentimental response. You need to see how it would impact them. And that's why you see the lawyer, when they're pleading their case, they try to hit on the sentiments of the jury to make them swing a decision that favors their own clients.
Yeah.
So I know there's a lot of feeding that can be done or training that can be done for the AI, but to imitate a jury, but it's a long shot.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. Okay, so let's bring it down to 9 to 5. Are there roles in 9 to 5 in a corporate setting? Let's localize it a little bit in Nigeria. I think AI cannot take. There are roles in maybe insurance companies and banking and just typically 9 to 5 environments. Are there roles that no AI can touch my job? I'm telling you, am I in risk management? Okay, we've spoken a lot about customer service. Am I in sales, marketing roles, or product, for instance, or someone in digital banking? Are there roles in that space that no AI can touch? Right?
Yeah, so I think there's roles in every space that AI won't be able to touch.
Okay.
Maybe if we pick specific ones. So it's a bit funny, but at least in this area, say for insurance, I just renewed comprehensive insurance of a car, and based on the process here, someone has to come from the insurance company to view. So will that person be a robot, like come to my office or my house to view the car to confirm that this car this guy is insuring that he claims is this amount, or is still in good form and wants to renew his insurance on is in good.
You don't think a robot can do that? Like a technological driven solution can just it can just
So let
place
me
it
tell
on
you
your
what.
car
So
to
let me
make
tell you
sure.
what some people in insurance will do. For
Yeah.
those that trust you, is they'll tell you take a picture of your car and send it to us.
Okay.
So today, for the insurance space abroad, and I think I'm not sure. Did I read any use case for Nigeria? I know in the insurance space, people are already using AI to cheat the insurance company.
Oh,
So how?
how's that?
Their car wasn't accidented, and they would get AI to develop pictures of their car that looks accidented and come up with a story and then send details to the insurance company. I experienced an accident at Ibrahim Adesoya Junction. Look at my car. If you check your pictures, you will see the picture of the car. Then, when you were giving them the insurance, same color, white G-Wagon, everything intact, then they take that same picture of the white G-Wagon and tell AI to make it look accidented, and they can take pictures of that area of Ibrahim Adesoya and augment the background with the car and make it look accidented, park it on the roadside, and claim that it's in the workshop. But I know I've seen prompts, I've seen headlines that people are leveraging artificial intelligence to generate artifacts to enable them claim from insurance. And now the insurance company is putting measures in place to be able to scan and audit artifacts sent to them to confirm that this was AI generated.
Wow.
So it's a journey.
Yeah.
What will happen is organizations that probably can't afford those solutions that can detect would still use the traditional. So that guy still has his job. Then that same guy that has the job can actually scale up and be the one to leverage the automation when it comes, because he has that knowledge when it's used to apply from a manual, traditional perspective.
Okay.
So if that guy scales himself, he will take that new role when the company, applies the technology. Depending when the company can apply the technology, he still has his job.
Yeah.
So see, and that role typically in an insurance company is for some logistic guy. It's not so high paying. So for some, I know areas where there will be job losses around research, underwriting, documentation, because they are templated. Templates are everywhere, and you can enrich and localize by prompting effectively. So yes, research, anything that involves so much documentation and reviews, yes. But anything that requires, thinking and reacting at a specific time, responding, deciding, decision making. And I'll give you an example. For solutions developed out of the country to make specific decisions, trust me, when you bring it to Nigeria, the response will be different. Because of how we just conduct ourselves and how we engage. And that's why a lot of tech companies are building localized solutions that even understand the language. Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, understand the language and would be able to respond and react accordingly. So, and that's why today you see guys chatting with AI platforms in pidgin English and is responding accordingly. But you will notice it's just to that limit of how it has been trained. So continuous training is required. So the question is, you need to just keep staying ahead of the curve as the platform is enhancing itself. So I think a lot of roles. Give me another sector, maybe like
I've mentioned insurance. I mentioned let's go about fintech companies. I've mentioned banking.
So fintechs are the easiest to leverage artificial intelligence. In fact, they're the ones that leverage it the most.
Okay.
the DevOps guy can be replaced, especially because it's localized. DevSecOps guy too. The coding guy, the guy building, writing code, you can reduce the number of guys writing code from 8 to 3 or 2, but you can't wipe out the entire coding team.
Okay.
So, but the guy that leaves his job gets built another fintech or startup, goes to another startup and be the key man there too. So, yes, there will be replacements, there will be layoffs, but it's reducing the number. And then the key guys, the 3 guys that are left now leverage artificial intelligence to enhance their code, write better code, and so they won't be replaced.
Yeah.
There will be some form of augmentation. There will be reduction in the workforce, or there will be a need not to recruit more people.
Yeah.
But, there's no actual wipeout.
Yeah. Okay, I want us to talk about the downside of AI a little bit, because I know there are good sides to this, technological driven ideas and all of that, but there's a downside. I know you've spoken about AI detectors. Like, we go to the media, we see things they use AI for. They use AI for several things that are to the detriment of others, people's image, where do we draw the line, especially in Africa, in Nigeria? Where do we draw the line? Because it's looking like AI is completely taking control, because people use AI for different things, for good and for bad. So where do we draw the line as Africans?
So I don't think there's any drawing the line. There's just seeing how we keep managing. So a thought process came to mind now. So let's say you watch This Day Live.
Yeah, I do.
I like Rotus. I like how as a broadcaster, I like his job. So I can imagine Rotus being unavailable, indisposed, and there's a script already, and there's nobody available to take his place, and he needs to read the business news by 10 a.m. And already they are trying to leverage AI, and they've developed agents, and they already have, prompts ready to set up and let us have a visual appreciation of Rotus, and he will read the news, dressed in a suit, look all right. We won't know.
Yeah.
And guess what? Rotus can be on his bed recovering from his sickness
While he's somewhere working.
while he's also working, reading the news to us. We won't know better.
Yeah.
So there is no drawing the line. We need to keep thinking of how we are leveraging and taking advantage of it. But the governance of AI also putting specific controls in place to manage prompts, manage inputs, which is where the data ethicists come into it. Also the prompt managers come into it, or the AI trainers come into it. That's what we need to continue to enhance. I would say the bad actors are leveraging AI too, just the way the average person is trying to use it to grow their careers or be better. It's helping the bad actors defraud people faster or quicker. There have been a lot of fraud situations based on, so there was this company abroad that they go on a call, a meeting with the CEO, and on Zoom, he gave instructions to the CFO, and CFO wired money. And that's because they were used to having those Zoom sessions with the CEO.
Yeah.
So based on the insider, being able to prompt effectively to generate this meeting, make the CEO respond in this particular way or say these things on the call. I know when you're on the call with your CEO, you hardly will be able to say things that will be out of prompt. It's a formal engagement, so it's a lot of yes sir, okay sir, or should we try this, should we do this, okay, I'll do this and I'll send to you for your signature, blah, blah, blah. Send this instruction or give a visual or verbal instruction and transfer is done. And so yeah, so people are a bit paranoid now these days that to be sure that hey, this video is real. Also, there's been a lot of propaganda. Leveraging AI, propaganda is getting crazy. That is leading to uprising or riots in places where they see a video, meanwhile it was AI generated. Or you see videos of a president saying something he didn't say. You get, there have been a lot of videos about Trump saying a lot of wrong things. There have been videos about, and I'm sure there have been videos about Tinubu, our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu saying things he didn't say. The voiceover and the video. And a lot of us that know better are always reviewing and saying, no, this is AI generated. And that's the level we just need to get to. We just need to know better and be smarter, or verify before we believe the video, that was just put out there. So we will move with the times. It's a journey. as we're innovating, it's not just for the good people. The bad people also leverage innovation to commit crime, to defraud people, to create chaos, to pass misinformation, which is a thing now. And these issues will create jobs for people. What rules, what controls should we put in place to curb some of these issues? Humans will be the one to train and drive technology to identify, protect, or prevent, or proactively identify some of these issues and manage it well. So in a way, it's a win-win eventually.
It's a win-win,
For
right?
those that keep pushing.
Okay.
We need to keep pushing. You need to know that you have to be a part of it and make it work for you. So.
All right, Gbolabo, it's been very insightful, eye-opening. I'll take another break right now. When we come back, we'll wrap this up. Don't forget to subscribe, like, follow, and leave your comments. I'll be right back.
And real talk begins. The After 5 Diaries.
Welcome back to the After 5 Diaries. My name is Funa, and I'm in chat with Gbolabo. So what you said so far, and from everything you've been saying, it's the future isn't about surviving AI. It's about shaping how it's used, how people use these tools, and what they use them for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about the future, again, the options we have is we sitting back and letting the future shift for us, which is the complaint everybody is making now. AI is taking over our jobs. You would only say that if you're sitting back. But a better future, a better approach is being proactive and being part of the people shaping the future, making your own decision on how you want to be professionally, what roles do I want to jump on, how am I leveraging technology to better myself, better my job, better my ventures. And so yes, the only advice is, the only way forward is embracing the technology, knowing it, leveraging it better, and also being part of, the people shaping that future and, passing it on to the next generation.
Okay. Thank you, Gbolabo. It's been very insightful. Like I said, I'm using the word insightful. It's been eye-opening, mind-opening, everything. So do you have any final words for people in 9 to 5, people in the corporate world? Any final words for them on AI use, the use of AI?
Okay, final words would be that person in your organization embracing and leveraging AI. Be known by your manager, your boss, as someone that is AI driven and can make things happen. So that's what I would say.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for coming to the board. I hope I can bring you next time. This time I'll send a limo, promise. I promise. Right. So everyone listening, the robots are coming. Right? The robots are coming, and so it's opportunity. So what you should do is that you should develop yourself, be human, leverage opportunities, do what you can, and at the same time, scale up your resume, because you don't know where you find yourself tomorrow. This is still the After 5 Diaries. I thank you guys so much for listening. Till next time, I'll come with something else very interesting and juicy. Stay tuned, stay subscribed, and stay with us. Thank you very much.